And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Renovating a Stuart 5A Twin Steam Engine, Part 1, Inspection and Assessment. This is a really beautiful engine. It's actually not a model, it's a full-size boat engine. This would easily power a 20-foot launch. And the first thing I'm going to do is see how it runs. And in order to do that, I really need to make a proper union. This is something that I've just knocked up. It's a little bit rough and I do apologise for that, but it will do the trick, and I cannot contain myself. I want to see this thing running. This will allow my airline to be put directly onto the engine instead of a silicone rubber pipe. And just for a change, the engine runs immediately. It's really good to see the wheel going round on the first application of air. Usually when I connect air to an engine, it does nothing but splutter and let air out through the exhaust or some other place, but no, this one's good. It's in very good order indeed. There's a little bit of side slap on one of the rods I can hear, but nothing to worry about. Bear in mind that this is not a proprietary engine. A twin-cylinder 5A from Stuart would be called either a Cygnet or a Swan. But this is neither of those two models. This is actually two very well-made Stuart 5A engines put together to work as a pair. You will notice that they do not share a common box bed. Instead, these two engines are just mounted on a couple of pieces of wood. This is not a good example of how to mount an engine, so what I'm going to do is make a steel frame that holds the engine and then a wooden base that makes it look nice. This engine is part of a large collection owned by a friend of mine, and it's never going to be used to power a steam launch down a river, but that's not the point. I will still approach the rebuild, or should I say renovation, in such a way that it would be capable of powering a steam launch down a river if you needed it to do so. So in real terms, this is not a model steam engine. It's a full-size, small steam engine, complete with matching lubricators. These are mechanical ratchet-type lubricators and they work really well, both of them. Each of the cylinders has its own mechanical lubricator. Although you can now hear the rod clacking as the oil has disappeared a little bit, I can't fault it in any way. It runs beautifully. In this clip you can clearly see that this engine has two eccentric driven water pumps. I'm quite looking forward to getting these working and making them both connect together via a common piping system. Well, it's so far so good on this one. It doesn't look like it's going to have to come down too far. Here's a close-up of the centre connector that connects the two engines together. It's a really nice piece of kit, far too nice to be covered up by its plastic cover. At this stage I haven't screwed the engine down to the piece of wood. In a moment or two, if you look, you will see I quickly put some screws in to hold it in place temporarily. But the entire base is going to be discarded for a much better arrangement. Here's a close-up of the commercial union in the centre. You can see how it works. The chain is a double chain and the two sprockets engage with the chain. The main knocking problem can be seen here. As the engine turns over, watch what happens when the crosshead pin gets to the bottom of the stroke. It moves across quite quickly. This is a very common thing. Something's not 100% in line. It's not fouling the casting or anything like that. But the whole connecting rod is moving quickly to one side at the bottom of the stroke, and that's what's mainly making the clicking noise that you can hear. This is definitely not recommended, but if I run the engine slowly and put some side pressure on the pin, then the clicking stops. Even though this is only the initial inspection, I thought I'd have a quick look at this because I was a little bit worried because the crosshead pin appeared very close to the casting, so I made a washer that fitted at the other end, then I retightened the whole assembly, which was more difficult than it looked because the other side is not a nut, it's a round bit that you have to grip with a pair of pliers. After I finished this quick job, I put the oil piping back in place. Here it's shown removed. Steam engines with this kind of reversing arrangement will reverse incredibly quickly. Even when they're running quite fast, you can quickly move to reverse and the thing just goes in reverse. I'll just let the video run, showing various views of the engine so you can actually get a feeling of what it's all about. By putting the engine on the turntable, as I just have been doing, you can see what it's all about. There are one or two dints in the copper work, but there would be on a full-size engine. And the other side of it is nicely insulated, so you won't burn your hand on the steam inlet. The thing that's bothering me about the engine, though, just one little thing, and I really am sorry to be picky, I would just like to know the logic of the taps in the cylinder covers on the top of the cylinder. They serve no function. The engine itself has got drain cocks at the top and bottom of the cylinder. The only thing I could guess is that the builder just got a little bit OCD and had a couple of taps left over, and just couldn't help himself but fit them somewhere on the engine. These are normally the taps that you use on Stuart 504 boilers, and they are complete with the nice little plastic hand wheel at the top that stops you burning your fingers when you open the valve. But I prefer the spoked type hand wheels, the ones that burn your fingers. They just look so much better on a steam engine. So I'm going to fit this type to the engine and do away with these top two that serve no purpose whatsoever. In this clip you can clearly see a lower drain valve and an upper drain valve on the cylinder, and the same on the other cylinder, and then on the top an extra drain tap. Now I really don't get this at all. Upper drain tap, lower drain tap, stupid drain tap that serves no function, so I can't live with this. This is going to have to go. But I'll leave them in for the moment so I can still run and play with the engine. In this clip I'm showing the two pipes that are coming out of the drain taps, and this pipe that comes from the one on the top of the cylinder, but that's not going to be there. It's very messy indeed. I think someone else has put this in, not the builder. Someone with a fetish for drain taps. And whilst I'm at it, these two pipes just dangling in space are no good at all, because if you open the tap, the cylinder condensate is going to go all over the engine. I have a better idea for that. That's about it for now. I look forward to this renovation. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful.